At the age of 21, after my degree, I visit the US and solo travel South America and Mexico for the next 2 months. Join me from the ups and downs to the beautiful deserts, the buzzing cities, the culture and the people. So right now I'm leaving tomorrow for Peru. Before I go, I was really keen on having first night accommodation and the first bus I need booked. And now I think about it, I've never organised being picked up, dropped off, like those kind of things. Like, I've sorted holidays, but it feels so different. I'm choosing a homestay where I'll go and live with a like Peruvian or Bolivian family. I'm not really sure which side of Lake Titicaca I'm going to go first, but it's so intimidating to think about booking and think about organising, like more than you can imagine. Like choosing a bus, like there's so many bus companies. I've messaged a man who is helping us with the like first 10 days in Peru. Us as in me, there's no us, I'm going alone. But yeah, bus company, like, why is it so hard to pick a bus? Anyway, yeah, much more difficult than I would have thought. So I need to fit a lot of stuff in a 60-litre rucksack tonight. I don't know where I'm going. The current state of my room isn't great. This is my first meal out alone ever, and it's in Lima, which is pretty crazy. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. So I'm out on my first adventure around Lima. I decided today to stay in Miraflores district, which is where I'm staying, just because of my public transport is supposed to be much safer. I just think probably best for me to do today, as my sister told me, and she's so right really. It's lovely though. There's some graduation thing happening. Here we have the Chinese garden, which is like, the sea is just there. It's really pretty on the cliff. You're giving me wind and rain, some kind of butterfly. This is the little Chinese house in the garden. I've just paused here for a minute because I don't really know what I'm doing. This was one thing I really wanted to find here, and I have. But I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. So I'm in search of a museum that is about tolerance and social inclusion in Peru. It's supposed to be in the district that I'm staying in. I've texted some people that have been to Peru before. There's quite mixed reviews that I've got about like what areas to stay in, so I need to go back and do some more research. But yeah, I'm still walking along the coast in Miraflores to find this museum. Hopefully it's good. This is the way down to the museum. So in Peru, it's still really strict on COVID, vaccine passports and masks. So indoor, everywhere you have to wear a mask, and to get into like shopping centres, museums, loads of places you need your vaccine passport. So like obviously that's quite hard with like being from another country. So I've got 3 sheets of PDF printed off I've got to give out every time. But here's the museum. The architecture is quite cool. I really like it, and there's writing all of these like things that come up, and there's the Pacific Ocean. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, oh, oh. So I don't know if you can hear me because it's quite windy. Everything in that museum was Spanish, and there were QR codes to get like the French, English, other languages, but you need internet, which I don't have, and they didn't have Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna go home, find a supermarket. It's gonna get dark in about an hour, and do a lot of research on Peruvian history so that some of the images, like big titles, make some more sense to me, because it would have been a great museum, I think, if I spoke Spanish. And now just watching the world go by from the edge of this museum. It's pretty nice. Hello, okay. So let's talk Peru. So I got here last night at about 5:30 in the evening. I got my taxi to this hotel. I'm staying in a hotel basically because that's where I meet this tour, and it was my mum and dad's rules that I had to stay where it was recommended by the tour to start with. I had like a 19-hour journey, so I was awake the whole time, and I got here last night and I did not know what the hell I had done. I was like, why am I here? I was like, flying to Peru on my own is possibly the most stupid thing I've ever done. So the taxi ride, the driving, is absolutely bloody mental. You have the inside lane turning right, the outside lane turning left, everyone's honking, everyone's beeping, people run across lanes to jump on and off the buses. I was like, public transport looks absolute carnage. And I got here last night, thought this is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. I called my sister and she was like, Amy, why are you getting public transport? Like, don't, you have literally no need to on your first or second day. She was like, you've been awake all night, like being upset is fine. Her rules are, if you're upset or you think you want to come home, go to sleep, because in the morning you'll probably enjoy it. Yeah, and I was like, I cannot do 2 months traveling on my own in South America. On the first night I cried. I watched the beginning bit of Love Actually about Heathrow Airport and just cried my heart out. And I spoke to my friend who, if you ever watch this, Marta, she helped me plan the whole trip. I don't think I'd have done it if she didn't tell me everything I needed to know. She's basically done bigger trip than me solo, and she loved it. And she messaged me and she was like, the first night is always super stressful. She was like, don't worry. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. I read my book to try and like get out of the mindset of being like, why the hell am I here? Oh, I went for dinner on my own for the first time. So when I got here, I was okay. I got in, looked at my room, which actually pretty good, because I'm on my own, which kind of good for me for like this time where I can chill in the evening. Not so good for social areas. I went out on my own for dinner, which I basically wasn't a big thing. It's something in the UK people had said to me, like, practice going out for dinner on your own, it's quite hard. But I don't know, it didn't bother me. Went out for lunch today on my own. I literally went across the road, it was dark, so I was saying to the lady on the desk, like, is there any food still available here? She said, no, you have to go across the road. And sometimes when people say across the road, I mean bloody track away. It wasn't, it literally was across the road. So I went out for dinner in the dark, which was okay. And then I got up today, I was like, right, I've listened to Emma's clever, she's been travelling, like, take your time, you don't have to push yourself on your first day. And she's right, like, so many people will go on holiday and not even leave their resort. So she's like, if you don't even leave your like local area, fine, like no one's forcing you to do it. So that was my last night, massive stress, but I think it's all good now. I am still a bit worried about this public transport. I spoke to some of my friends who have been here before and they were like, yeah, you just use it with Google Maps. I think I've changed my mind and I am going to buy a SIM card, even if it's like 15-20 quid everywhere I go. I think it's so worth it. Like, if I'm ever in the situation where I need a taxi, I need to call someone for help, I will right there on the spot give money to do it, so I may as well be prepared and just spend less now. So that's to do tomorrow, because that's changed my mind. So another thing I did, so today I woke up, I went walking around Miraflores, which is the district I'm in. It means like to see flowers, like Mira and Flores, and that's really, really nice. I felt so safe. Like, it's all big parks with loads of flowers planted. You've got the Pacific Ocean just next to you. I could not for the life of me work out how to get down to the actual seafront, because there's like the big cliff up here where you walk along, then there's a big drop, then there's a motorway, and then there's a beach. So I couldn't work out how to get there. I didn't particularly try, but it looked too hard, and I thought, I saw the little Paddington Bear statue. I love Paddington. That was one thing I wanted to see. Yeah, I just wandered around the parks. I had a chat with these two ladies that had already been to Machu Picchu and one from Lima, going back via Lima. They were quite helpful. They helped me translate some Spanish. So I bought this really cute llama because I've heard silver is really good in Peru. It's known for its silver, so this is such a chunky piece of silver, and it's a little llama. So I was like, I want to get something in each country, so I thought this looks perfect, and it's so cheap for the amount of silver. It's unbelievable. Oh my god. Basically the walls are really, really thin, and I can hear someone being sick, I think. I hope they're okay, but also I can't really cope with the noise of being sick. I also met a man who, when I was looking at the Paddington Bear statue, was like, I bet you're British, and he is from Illinois, lives in Illinois but is Peruvian, and he explained some of the taxi systems to me, because I've read a lot about like taxis are dodgy in South America, but he said yes, that's true, but he said he gave me a few things to look out for. Normally in Lima they're bright yellow. There'll be like the taxi rank, they have like little flags and a number. He said like the ones you don't get are like a car that just has a sign that says taxi. So I feel kind of happy. I also at breakfast today met this girl from Switzerland. She is also here waiting for a tour, not the same one sadly, and she went out to an island near Lima to see penguins and sea lions. It sounds like she had a really cool day. I met her again in the evening, and we went to the supermarket because I wanted to get some water, because water here isn't drinking water. I have brought this with me, but however it's still not ideal, so I'm gonna flick between the two, like some bottled water, some filtered water, because this is pretty boring. But I think there's sulfur in the water here, and these don't filter out sulfur, and I don't know if that's bad for you. My sister did some research for me. She said that like it's not necessarily bad, but it can make you feel ill. So I'm just gonna mix it up a bit, so I save a bit of money on water, but don't drink 100% filtered, because the tap water here smells of egg. That's not the one when you get in the shower, but hey. I met this lovely girl. We went to the supermarket, then we went for dinner, we came back to the hotel, asked for a recommendation of where to go. We spent ages chatting. She said about how I help her practice her English, because she wants to have much better English by December. She taught me a couple of bits of German. She taught me a bit about where she lives in Switzerland and Swiss culture. She's also a nurse and paramedic. I mean, what a career. So it's quite nice that we already have healthcare in common, and decided that we'll do something tomorrow together. So we're going on a walking tour, which has been what has been stressing me, because you have to get a bus there, that's fine, but it's the bus back. I think I'm making it a big thing, and it's not a big thing. I just hate public transport. It took me till third year to work out buses in the UK, so I feel like this is a very Amy Antonio kind of problem, as in not a problem, but to me, big problem. And this afternoon as well, I went to a museum of culture, memory, tolerance, and social inclusion, like about the violence that Peruvians face. However, I got there, I had really wanted to go, and everything was in Spanish. And then there were little QR codes, and I was like, oh, do you have Wi-Fi? Because the QR codes require internet. And the guy was quite mean. He was like, no. So I wandered around the museum, gave it a go. I tried to read bits in Spanish. I understood odd words. It makes me realise how much I want to speak Spanish, and I just can't. I did what I could. I've got some time in my hotel, so I'm going to watch some videos on like a Peruvian history to see if I can link up what I've seen with kind of the exhibition, and I took some photos of some of the like main titles, so I'm going to translate them all so I have a bit of an idea of the timeline I saw in the museum. It's a bit of a pain that that happened, but it's okay. I'll learn about Peruvian history, I'm sure, in time anyway. So now I think I'm going to go to bed. Another cultural thing is Swiss people say, so I'm meeting her at 8:30, but she says 9:30, as in like 30 minutes to 9, not 30 minutes past 8. So good night. Ready for move number 1. And goodbye to my kind of cool view of Lima. Bye, Lima. Well, I'll see you from a new room. So I've come back here where I was the first day, and it's actually a love park, which I didn't realise. I have a roommate who's not here at the moment, and my bed.